So welcome back to the channel, everyone. Triple M here. Today we're taking a look at the new Chromecast, of course, and this is not just your ordinary Chromecast. This one actually has Google TV, which is a version of Android TV, as the operating system. So what that means is that not only can you still cast, but you can also interact with the interface, download your favorite apps. You can see there you have Netflix, YouTube TV, HBO Max. You have all the streaming applications on here, guys. So everything that a Firestick does, this should be able to do, and we're gonna put it to the test today. So a couple things about this: comes in 3 colors, a blue, a pink, and it does come in a white version, which we have today. However, if you're looking for the pink or the blue, you're gonna be waiting about 5 days. Those weren't readily available on launch day. As far as some of the specs, it does support 4K at 60 frames per second, HDR10, HDR10 Plus. It does also support Dolby Vision and Dolby Digital pass-throughs. So this is put in place to compete with your Firestick, your Tivo Stream 4K, or any budget Android device that's within or under that $50 price range. So today we're going to unbox it, we're going to set it up, we're going to get into the operating system, and we're also going to test our USB-C dongle, see if that works. We're going to try it with the Ethernet adapter, we're going to try it with the USB drive. We're also going to try it with a portable keyboard and mouse just to see if we're able to interact with the operating system with those peripherals. One more thing I also wanted to test out, and you guys would not let me live it down, is if I can sideload applications or get some of those third-party applications on here. So once again, this is a Chromecast 4. Code name is Sabrina, and the remote is codename Abby. Let's go ahead and get it out of the box. So if you're new to the channel, I do everything tech, from your streaming reviews, streaming news, product reviews, unboxings, and everything in between. Hit that subscribe button in the top right, smash the notification bell. Make sure you select all on notification. That way you won't miss a video or a giveaway. Get this plastic out of here. And just so you guys know, Amazon also did release a couple Fire Sticks, and I purchased the Fire Stick Lite reluctantly, just a review for you guys, but even lower the price a little bit more, but this is missing a lot of key features, but we're going to unbox that in a separate video. Charger is USB-A to USB-C. Packing is pretty well done, as you can see right here. Has that Google cable management on there, which they always do a good job with their cable management. We do have a quick start guide. Sure, we don't need to read this unless we get in real trouble. Alright, so we'll start with the remote here. So we have our navigational up top, select right there in the middle, back button, have our Google Assistant, home, our mute, dedicated YouTube button, dedicated Netflix. Looks like we have our power button, and this looks like the input selection. Let me double check on that. You can see there that is our input selection, and we do have a LED. Says solid when microphone is activated. So good thing we had those instructions close by. It does use 2 AAA batteries, and these are included. It looks like they're Google branded batteries, so shout out to Google once again. And just to give you guys an idea, here's our remote for the Tivo Stream 4K, so you can see the size difference there. Yet again, here's our remote for the Amazon Fire Stick 4K. So it's going to be a little smaller. As far as the width, it's around the same. It is going to be a little bit shorter than the other device. Actually, it's going to be quite shorter than the other devices. So personal preference, I guess. I also failed to mention that there is a volume up and down on the side of the remote. So here's the device itself, and this is basically just a flat X-shaped, disc-shaped device. It does have a reset button right there on the back. On the front, just has the Google logo. Of course, we have our HDMI plug-in right here at the top. And yet again, since we're comparing stuff, here's the Fire Stick. And it's more like the Tivo Stream 4K, so it is going to be smaller than those other devices for the most part. Of course, the dongle is going to account for some of the length. This is a lot thinner than the other devices as well, so keep that in mind. But I don't see that being an issue as far as portability. I don't see that 1/8 of an inch or 1/2 an inch making that big of a difference whether you take this device on the road or not. So let's get it set up and go through the operating system. So here we are in the operating system, guys. This is what Google TV looks like. In my opinion, it looks more like the Amazon interface than it does Android TV. But remember that this is running Android TV. First thing you'll notice up top, you have your search, you have For You, your movies, your shows, your apps, as well as your library. And if you scroll to the right, you have your settings, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit. So on your main page, you're going to have your different categories. So you're going to have your picks, trending, recommendations, sitcom, horror. You have recommendations from YouTube, shows about detective, comedies, war movies, adventures. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you do get the option to kind of customize it so you can get better recommendations. So if you click on that, you can see that my Hulu is already linked, but you can also turn on your Prime videos. If you have a Disney Plus subscription, Netflix is turned on, Showtime, Sling, Stars, as well as Viki. So if you have any one of these subscriptions, you might want to go ahead and turn it on, and that way you can get those recommendations as well as content when you do search. Now, if you click on any one of these, let's say I do a long press on this, it's going to give you different options. You can watch on Hulu. I do have a Hulu subscription, so I should be able to watch directly. Add to watch list, watch, like, dislike, and I can also view my details. Next, you have For You. You have your movies, your shows, as well as your applications. Now, I should let you guys know that this does have the Google Play Store installed. However, it doesn't just flash it in your face. Like if you go here, you're not going to see an app that says Play Store. You kind of have to search for it, which is kind of annoying. So one way to get to it is by using the voice assistant. Google Play Store.
Opening Google Play Store.
So this is what you guys are mostly familiar with on Android TV. So kind of annoying that it doesn't just show it right here. I think that would be a better look, but I get that they're trying to do their own look. And there's another way to get to the Play Store, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. So on the apps, you can see they have some advertising right there, and I'm guessing these are up here because they're partnered or they're paying the ad fees, but those are going to be up top. You're going to have your apps. So this is your apps that you have installed. You can see I went ahead and installed Explore and Downloader, and we're going to get into what I found out about those apps here in a little bit. Now you do have different categories, so you can search for apps. You have entertainment, audio, video, tools, sports, so different categories within applications. So apps from other devices, pretty self-explanatory, features, streaming apps. So a lot of different categories in here. And like I said, if you have the Google Play Store or have used Android devices, this looks somewhat familiar. So next we have your library. So when you rent or purchase something, this is where it will show up. So if you go all the way over, guys, click on your logo. You have two options here. Below you do have notifications. Right now I don't have any, but you do have, this is the Daydream, I call it, and this just basically just puts the screensaver up, and if you're walking away from the device or it's inactive, that's what it will display. So we'll go through some beautiful pictures just to keep everything flowing until you get back. Next icon is going to be your settings. So if you click on that, this is where you're gonna see everything about your device. So let's go through it, and there's a lot in here, so I'll try to run through it. But if you guys have any questions after this, just let me know. So you do have your network and internet. We will be testing an Ethernet to USB adapter as well as a speed test just to see if we have any differences. You have your accounts. You can add additional accounts as well. Privacy, you can go in, you can see you have your location, your usage, ads. You do have some options there: Google Assistant, purchases, ad permissions, special apps, as well as security and restriction. So this is where, for the most part, you should be able to go in, enable apps from unknown sources, and allow those apps to install third-party applications. However, what I found out is that unless something's wrong with my device, there's no way for me to actually turn these on. And I've tried with a keyboard and mouse, and I just haven't had any luck. Don't know what the issue is. Don't know if it's a feature that they plan on unlock, but as for now, I can't install any third-party apps, and I'll get into the errors that I'm receiving here in a little bit. So next, you're going to have your display and sound. Very important. So this does have CEC control. So if you have a CEC enabled device, this should power it on, power it off, and also you should be able to control the volume from the remote as well. You also have the option to match your content, so match the dynamic range. Your advanced display option, you can allow game mode. And for anyone that actually owns Stadia, your Stadia should be able to connect to this Chromecast, and that way you can play your game directly on here. So what this does, it puts it into a low latency mode. That way you can have some smoother gameplay. So you can go ahead and turn it on. As far as the resolution, that's going to be based on what monitor you're using. Right now I'm only using a 1080p monitor, so I am maxed out at 1080p at 60 frames per second. But if you guys have a 4K monitor, you should see the 4K resolution there as well. So that was your display. You have your system sound that's turned on, advanced system sound. So right now it's set to automatic, but if you go over, you can switch it to never use surround sound, manual. You do have Dolby Digital option, Dolby Digital Plus as well. And at the bottom you have Dolby Atmos and Dolby Digital Plus. So those are your sound options. So depending on what sound system you have, you should be able to select the proper option there. Once again, your applications, your apps permissions are there. Security and restrictions, still can't seem to toggle those on. And even like I said, even when I use a mouse, I can't do anything here. For me, it looks like a feature that they haven't enabled yet, but if you guys are experiencing something else, drop it in the comment section and let me know. So next you have your system, you have accessibility, about the device, so you do have your updates. Android TV version is going to be Android 10, so keep that in mind. Date and time language, keyboard, storage. So if you look on the storage, guys, I do have a USB plugged in, and I'll get into what's on there here in a little bit. But as far as what storage you're going to get on this device, the total amount of storage is going to be 4.4 gigs. And when I say 4.4 gigs, I don't mean 4.4 gigs available. So if you go over, you can see my apps are taking up 1.1 gig. Cache is taking up 55 megabytes. Miscellaneous 65 kilobytes, which is nothing. Available is 2.4 gigabytes. So that means that you basically use half of the 4.4 gigs already. So good thing about this is that you are able to add a hard drive, add a USB, and you can adapt storage. And I'll get into that here in a little bit when I talk about the OTG adapter. You have your ambient mode, energy saving, you have your cast option, and you do have the option to restart as well. So another cool thing about this device is that it talks to everything else in your house. So if you have compatible devices, you can use this to essentially talk to those devices, change your temperature, turn on lights. Now, in addition to that, you can also use the voice assistants to play movies, watch YouTube, or whatever you need to do. Let's go ahead and give it a test. What's the temperature like tomorrow in Orlando?
In Orlando Thursday, expect a high of 85 and a low of 66.
Watch Tiger King on Netflix. Alright, so it brings us directly to Tiger King. Watch NBA highlights on YouTube.
Change in the starting lineup for the third straight game.
Alright, so it works pretty well. Watch 4K nature video on YouTube.
Here's what I found on YouTube.
So switching over to the keyboard and mouse, I just wanted to let you guys know that I am using an OTG adapter. I'll link it in the description. What I'm using is kind of weird. It's kind of overkill, but I'll link a couple that should work on this device. But I am able to use the keyboard, use the mouse, and also do have a USB storage on here, which I'll be testing a couple things here. And also I wanted to test a USB to Ethernet adapter just to see what speeds we're getting. So first, let's talk about the USB drive that's installed. Obviously, I am able to use a keyboard and mouse, but I do have a couple files on here that I want to show you guys what happens when I try to do certain things on them. Let me go ahead and open Explore File Explorer. So Explorer is one of my favorites, guys, with everything going on with ES File Explorer. This is my other go-to, works pretty well. So on my USB drive, if I go down, I do have File Linked installed. Also have a 4K video that I do want to test out. So this is what happens when I try to install File Link. Alright, so apps can't be installed by this user. And like I said, I tried different things. I'm not able to turn on that permissions. So using Downloader, I got the same thing where it errored out or it didn't let me go to the URL. So it looked like that feature is currently not available. If you're experiencing something else, drop your thoughts, comments, fixes in the comment section, and I'll keep looking into what might be causing this. So the other thing is, I do have a 4K video here. You can see the resolution. It is 3840 by 2160, and even though this is coming from a USB drive, no issue there. I'm able to pause, skip ahead, go back, no drop frames, no stuttering, no buffering, and like I said, this is playing through the USB OTG adapter, so very impressed with that performance. So I was able to do a speed test. First one was with the Wi-Fi, and the second one was through a USB to Ethernet adapter. Now, I should let you guys know that I am paying for 400 megabits per second upload, about 20 download. And looking at the speed test, the Wi-Fi test showed that I'm actually getting closer to that number than I am wired. And when I was wired in with the Ethernet adapter, I was getting a little bit over 169 on the download and about 19 on the upload. So in this situation, the Wi-Fi was a little bit faster. However, if you're in the bind where Wi-Fi is weak or your Wi-Fi signal doesn't reach and you have the option to wire in, that feature is there. As far as adapting storage, I was able to do so. All you need to do is use your OTG adapter, plug in your drive. It could be a USB drive, could be a hard drive. You need to go to your settings, go back to storage, and then you can go ahead and select the feature to add storage to this device. Now, it does take a little while. It will format everything on the drive, essentially wipe it, and that storage now becomes a part of your system. So this is especially useful for a system like this that has very limited storage. So this is my first impression of the Chromecast, codenamed Sabrina. So love the user interface, guys. This is as snappy and buttery as I've seen. This is right up there with the Nvidia Shield as far as responsiveness, and the interface looks pretty good. Would be nice to have some customizable options where you can go in and delete the menus or remove certain categories, but hopefully in upcoming firmware updates they will give you more control to do certain things. As we expect from Google, the voice assistant works great. Love the fact that we are able to use the OTG cable on this device. The voice assistant works great. Speeds, network seems to be on par. Everything seems great except for the ability to install third-party applications, which is going to be an issue, and I hope that they actually send a firmware to fix that very soon. Seems like the option is there, they just disable for whatever reason. But if you guys are experiencing something else, let me know, drop it in the comment section below. So again, guys, this is my first impression. If you guys want me to test something specifically, drop that in the comment section as well. I will be doing some follow-up videos just to update some of those things I wasn't able to touch in the initial unboxing. I know that there's still a lot to learn, so definitely will be putting this through its paces. If you guys have any questions about this, like I said, drop it in the comment section below. Smash a thumbs up as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.